called I Forgot to Eat While Writing This, I'm Sorry. And time has become my worst enemy. I've taught myself to count off the hours on the knuckles of my fingers, but nowadays I only use my fingers to pick up a pencil I keep forgetting to sharpen, only to write dumb poems like this one. My words have lost all the power of a young, angry woman of color and have taken on the sappy tone of a rain-soaked romantic. I'm sickened by myself. And more often than not, I find myself displaced. Drapes shut and wrapped in a blanket of my own poetry and dead bile. More often than not, I find my head lost in the tapestry of the dandelions that have forgotten the taste of my breath in the daylight, so they weep. One by one, I find myself picking off rose petals just so I remember what hope feels like in between my fingers. And to think I used to envision myself as this big revolutionary. I'm at fault of sentencing myself to a lifetime of selective silence. Like the moon, I've mastered the art of only showing the sides of myself that are easier to admire. I position myself so that the stars in my eyes distract you from the ghosts crying out from the pits of my stomach. It's hard to love a ghost. I've come to a point in my life where I understand that now, and it's almost funny how nowadays I walk around in skin too loose and thin on my body, so transparent that the knives stabbed into my back fall out my stomach like miscarried children, yet so opaque that I still have to write this poem to explain myself. I've become hollow. A flute that's forgotten how to make music, this is nothing new. Some days I hold myself together with shaky hands, sweaty palms, and sticky tape, and my heart forgets how to beat on its own, so I replace the beats with syllables of your name. I tell myself this is what happiness feels like. Like the moon sitting on your windowsill at 3 a.m. and where my suicide note begins to sound like the same old Shakespearean monologue everyone forgets the words to. Other days I look down at my feet, but my feet aren't there. And in their place lie shackled nothings. I can't move because I don't want to move, and so I sit on my bed, drowning in my own self-pity. I'm already half dead. Barely functional enough. And I'm afraid if I scream now, I'll disintegrate, so I keep quiet for my own sake. By God, this is what was written for me. My stomach must have hated me since the time of my birth. It's eaten me alive now. I write this to you with my intestines in one hand and with my brains in the other, with poetry clogged in my throat, with countless I'm sorries I never got the chance to say I'm sorry. I forgot to eat while writing this pathetic poem, I'm sorry. I've forgotten the taste of anything but regret on my tongue. My body claws at itself from the inside out and I ignore it. I shut my ears like a child and bite down on my tongue until the blood paints a picture on my chin. And to think I used to envision myself as this big revolutionary. As if I haven't evolved into the weakest version of myself. As if Muslim girl strength isn't synonymous with Muslim girl crying in her room when no one's looking. As if I haven't lost myself in a maze of my own tears. In this pain, I've become the dark side of the moon. A night sky without stars, and I've come to realize that my bones no longer hold purpose. A scarecrow the birds have begun to laugh at. I'm sorry, Father. My hands have forgotten how to fold into a fist, and I only remember how to cup them underneath my face to hold the weight of my tears. I've become weak. I'm sorry. And only while writing this did I notice how quick I am to apologize to everyone but myself, as if it wasn't my body that I let die. I'm sorry. And to think I used to envision myself as this big revolutionary. As if I've ever been worthy of my own name. As if I am worthy of my name. So I've chosen to forget its taste on my already broken tongue. I'm the nameless poet. The writer without a pen to call her own. So forget about it. Forget about this poem. Forget about me. The same way I forgot about myself. Thank you.